And once that starts, close it out. Bianca, do you need a second screen or anything, or are you going to use one? You're fine with your tech and all that stuff?
I didn't. I don't have a second.
Okay.
So I can hold things up.
All right. So I'm gonna share my screen and I'll just introduce the workshop a little and then you can get started. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody. So I usually give this little spiel. Is that this is Sequential Artist Workshop. And wait, that's not the first one. Oh, look at that. So many things. There we go. And these are the Friday night workshops that we took over from The Believer, and we're really happy they let us do that. So RIP The Believer, at least in print. It's kind of sad. Anyway, we are a school for comics. We're a nonprofit school. You can find us at learn.sawcomics.org. You can Google us. We have courses, like some things coming up. Actually, I'm going to give the next Friday night workshop. I have never given one, so I'll be the next one. Leela Corman is offering an April course that you can read about, and I'm giving a course called Going In for the Snakes in late February. You can check that out at the Learn site. We also have some ongoing groups, such as the Saw Flow and Publish group. And that one has weekly exercises in this community, and we do quarterly anthologies that we publish. And it's a pretty cool group. And we also have a graphic memoir and medicine group that's ongoing with biweekly calls, and it's all about memoir and graphic medicine. It's a pretty great group. So you can check out those at learn.sawcomics.org as well. Over here, thanks to our donors, I'll mention this in the chat a few times, but donations help us keep afloat. You can donate at PayPal, here at Venmo, or at Patreon. As far as the groups go, this is the Saw Flow and Publish group, and you can find that on the homepage. It comes with 4 free courses that are self-guided, but also a lot more. This is a view of one of the anthologies we recently published. I think we've got one, at the printer right now. Share on social media. The hashtag Friday Night Comics works great. Tag at Comics Workshop. I think Bianca, but I'll let her tell you, but I think she's at Bianca Stone. And you can come to our members site at any time for free and join and share there, members.sawcomics.org. And I'll put all this into the chat window too. It sort of looks like that. And again, more about the donations, I'll post that in the chat. And please no inappropriate speech or imagery. We appreciate it. Also, if you are joining us from Eventbrite, if you have any difficulties, look for this link here and open in Zoom. Some people have said that sometimes some tech things are a little easier in Zoom rather than in Eventbrite, but to be honest, I forget which ones. Enjoy. I'm going to stop sharing. Ask for help in the chat. I or any of the participants will help you. And I think that's it. So there we go. Bianca, I'll spotlight you and how we usually do it, but you're welcome to do it any way you like. How we usually do it at the end when it comes time to share is people raise the Zoom hand, and then I'll call on them to give you a break so that you don't have to be searching for people. But if you'd like to do it some other way, that's fine too. Just let me know. How's that sound? Okay, I'm going to spotlight you. I'm going to turn myself off completely, and you can start. I'm so glad you're here, by the way. Hello again. It's been a while. Hope you're feeling.
It has been a while. Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm glad everybody's made it. It's I have some drawing things that I've been putting off, so it's this good motivation to have people from all over the world all drawing together. So I'm primarily a poet, and so obviously the written word most of the time, but I've always been also a visual artist and have been sneaking it into my poetry enterprises for as long as I can remember. I started giving it a name back in grad school, poetry comics, and as a great lover of comics and of poetry, I started really getting obsessed with how the two were similar to one another, where they overlapped, how the mechanisms of each genre played off one another, and how they could actually benefit one another if brought together. So essentially, what I'm hoping we can do tonight is make some poetry comics. What's slightly different probably than a more traditional comic, to me, would merely be what makes poetry and prose different. Of course, there's a lot of gray area, but a sort of lyricism and a less emphasis on story, more emphasis on a sort of emotion or intuitive sense of meaning, where something's going, you're not quite sure, and really just letting yourself play with your mind. So a new element to all of this that I've started becoming very interested in is consciousness itself. So I have right here a gigantic book. Does anybody, probably a lot of people are familiar with Carl Jung's The Red Book, but it's basically illuminated. It plays off of the idea of the illuminated manuscript. So it's in German, but he hand did, just privately, it wasn't published so much long after his death, hand painted all of the text here and images. And it was really an experimentation with his own consciousness, dreams, and a waking state. And so today I'm hoping to sort of bridge the gap between seeing what falls out of our consciousness onto the page, both with the written word and visual art. A little bit about Jung in this is he was deliberately evoking a fantasy in a waking state and then entering into it as a drama. These fantasies may be understood as a type of dramatized thinking in pictorial form. In reading his fantasy, in the impact of Jung's mythological studies are clear. Some of the figures and conceptions derive directly from his readings of myth. And so we'll start today with a bit of a writing exercise to see if we can create a text to work with, to make some comics with. And we'll see if we can, I know it's a tall order, interact with a waking fantasy state. We're all capable of it. It's all happening whether we want to or not. So so get out some pen and paper. I've got the paper I'm going to draw on, and then I also have some paper, just some scrap paper I'm going to write the text on. So to start our text, we're going to make a list. Make a list, and let me emphasize, don't overthink it. Just see what happens when you start writing. Make a list of things that were in your head today. And we'll take about 4 or 5 minutes to do that. So a list of things that were in your head today.
Showing pictures that match.
shoot for 10. Jung recalled that beneath the threshold of consciousness, everything was animated. At times, it was as if he heard something. At other times, he realized that he was whispering to himself. Okay, so another minute here. Okay. So your list, of course, is, 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, whatever item on the list is fine. The second part of the writing exercise will be to write a line of poetry. Even if you've never written a poem before, I'm sure you can figure it out. And I believe you probably have written a poem at some point in your life. Write a line of a poem using at least 2 of these items. Let me give you an example. Here's 4 things from my list. Things that were in my head today. A cold. Lawyers. Petite fours. The way spring feels. So a line I might write doesn't have to adhere exactly to the context of that thing that was in your head today. For example, my line could be, I had a cold upon my chest, and the lawyers were hungry for petite fours, and I remember the way spring felt. So as you can see, these are all launching point to come up with your own line out of these items that are just rattling around in your head. So take another couple minutes to write a line. You can write several lines if you want, it doesn't matter. But again, just look at your list and write a line of poetry.
Bianca, we can't hear you. I'm not sure why. No.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. My headphones died. Right. So I'll give you another minute to write, and then so we'll just do 2 more minutes. Okay. Obviously, now we're going to do some drawing, and keep in mind that you have the opportunity to add more text or less text into your drawing. So as you can see that, sometimes things that Young did, there's the text and the image are very integrated, and it's more like an illuminated text than a comic. I mean, they're not comics, but you could, if you wanted to add more of your list artistically on the page somewhere, and then just put your line in the box, you could do something like that, or you could focus in on just an image of maybe some of the things in your list. So there's lots of options, and I think the idea here is to just really play off of how the image and the text go together, and surprising yourself with what you actually create. If you want to also, one thing that would maybe be meaningful is to close your eyes for a minute and see what images come to you, and see what might happen if you tried to translate what you saw, if you closed your eyes and just focused in, and just see what came out, see what that would do. Thinking of this as really self-experimentation. What has been on my mind today? How is it going to interact with my creativity? What can I discover about it? Just like you may with a dream, interpreting a dream on the page. So just take some time and take your line of poetry that you wrote, and that will be the text for your comic. You can add in other things from the list if you want. That's totally up to you. Have fun with it. But you can really use that line that you wrote as the text for your comic that you're going to make tonight. And you can have as many panels as you want. You can focus on one big page. You can do multiple pages. You know the drill. And I'm just going to draw over here too, and then I'll, and you can just post anything in the chat if you have a question or, So we'll do this for about 20 minutes and then we'll start sharing. You know, it's always been the question really is like, what does it mean to illustrate a poem? You know, I think that's what it's always been hard for me, because I love poetry so much just how it is. But so I like to think of poetry comics as something just entirely different. It's just a new opportunity to push the potential of each form, both poetry and the comic form. And really, so much of it has to do with that white space on the page, you know, the space between the panels, the pause that happens, just like in a poem, when the line breaks. That's really, it seems simple and arbitrary in a way, but it's really not. It's why some people fear poetry. It's, you know, if it didn't have line breaks, I wonder if they'd be more accepting of it. But because what happens in a white space, there's a lot of uncertainty, and the reader has to do a lot of work to make a leap in logic. But what's great about it, I think, in terms of thinking about consciousness, is that there's so much that we don't understand about our own thoughts, you know, and leaving space can just give you so much more leeway to explore, because there's so much that is left out in thought. You know, there's so much that's in the unconscious that we can't get to. I always think of my poetry, my comic creation, as experimentation, really. I'm really not a planning person. I'm never sure what's going to happen. I'll often have text first to play with. And it's usually fragments of poems that never came to be full poems. So they have, you know, something missing, something that wasn't working. And I'm like, okay, this is perfect to just draw around and see what happens. And really the tension between the image and the text is where a lot of the magic happens. You know, you have an apple next to the word, you know, birth of the hero or something, or birth of Christ, and with an apple, and you're like, okay, well, now I have to I have to create something. I have to create meaning out of these things. And what happens is that meaning finds you, you know, meaning finds it just happens spontaneously, and it's so cool. It does feel like magic. But also, I think too, just the self-discovery that happens in poetry. And then I'm sure everyone has this experience of doodling, you know, and in doodles, like so much seems to like be coded there. And so interesting to see what happens when you're just so-called mindlessly creating something. If anyone has like a question or anything while we're doing this, you can totally shout it out. We can talk about it, something.
I have a curiosity. Do you ever think about drawing somebody else's poems? Is there ever a poem that you see, like a Sharon Olds or something, and you're like, I got to draw this?
Well, I did Gertrude Stein's poem. I did this children's book called A Little Called Pauline. Somebody asked me to do this. I wouldn't have normally done this on my own, but they wanted to do this poem and they asked me, and I read the poem and I was like, this is just the kind of crazy I like. It's really wild. She's perfect because her stuff is so like nonsensical seeming. There's just so many options to it. But yeah, I mean, I've collaborated with a lot of poets, and that's always like such a joy. And I mean, honestly, it's more my own work, because of all the things I've said. But that doesn't mean that I am not drawn to doing other people's work. I think it's riskier when they're living poets who are like, what did you do to my poem? I'd certainly, people have done drawings for my poems for like magazines and stuff. And I'm always irritated when they draw, like, this has only happened a couple times, but like they draw literally what the poem is. Like I remember the poem was like, when I shaved my legs, it was the sound of dogs barking. And the artist had drawn a woman shaving her legs in the tub and like dogs barking next to her. I was like, so you run the risk of pissing off the poet, but it is really, I love, like Rilke and stuff. I've thought a lot about, doing some ancient texts, like, or of course, Dante is like such a traditional illustrator's dream.
I work in education, and it seems a very interesting way of bringing poetry, another way of bringing poetry into the classroom.
I agree entirely. I think, kids respond so well to images and text together. Obviously, children's books are the first things that we come across, and so many children's books are entirely poetry. But yes, it's a wonderful way to get poetry to kids.
Bianca.
Hi,
thanks for this time, Bianca. I'm curious if there are any books, poetry or art that you've been enjoying recently that you recommend we look at.
Books that are poetry and art?
Or both, one or the other, or both.
Oh God, so many. Well, speaking of Rilke, I just have this book I just bought right in front of me, this new translation by Alfred Korn of the Domino Elegies. I'm reading I'm reading this great book by this guy named Adam Phillips called Side Effects. He's a psychoanalyst, but he writes a lot about poetry and literature, and when he talks about issues of the psyche, and I really love his book. I'm trying to think of a good art book though. I was also reading today Joe Brainerd's I Remember, which is such a cute, wonderful little book. And he was one of the people who really inspired me to make poetry comics. He's a visual artist. He's long dead, but he was a visual artist, and he collaborated a lot with poets like John Ashbery and Frank O'Hara. He was part of the New York School Poets. And a lot of his art, this is one of his little pieces on the cover here. A lot of his art plays with comic if they're not comics straight up, they play with comic book motifs like the word bubbles and panels. And this book is simply a list of things he remembers, and it's just really wonderful. It was something I was also considering doing with you guys today. I'll read some examples. I remember round cards. I remember big fat ties with fish on them. I remember the first ballpoint pens. They skipped and deposited little balls of ink that would accumulate on the point. I remember the day Frank O'Hara died. I tried to do a painting, somehow, especially for him, especially good, and it turned out awful. I remember, how much is that doggy in the window? I remember butter and sugar sandwiches. I remember Pat Boone and love letters in the sand. I remember the Tennessee Waltz. I remember The Thing. I remember Dorothy Collins. I remember Dorothy Collins's teeth. I remember when I worked in an antique junk shop and I sold everything cheaper than I was supposed to. Just goes on and on like that, and it's so fun. I remember silly putty and a plastic egg. I remember silent moments in church when my stomach would decide to growl. I remember daydreams of living in the past and having the advantage and sometimes the disadvantage of knowing what was going to happen before it happened. I remember getting all dressed up to go buy clothes. I remember when twins dressed alike. I remember 2 hairs past a freckle when someone asks you what time it is and you don't have a watch. Great. Great exercise as well, getting rating. Someone has a putty on their kitchen table. Kendra said, I think that too about lots of children's books being poetry. Kids read more poetry than grown-ups. It's true. And I have a 5-year-old and I can say safely that she's just naturally a poet. You know, the things that come out of their mouths are just so imaginative and wild. No, it's really, there's something about poetry that's really, it's almost, it's playing with the natural state of how the mind works. But putting something down on paper is completely not how the mind works, right? That's like kind of where everything changes. But before, people were painting on walls of caves, they were reciting poetry, you know. But then they were probably painting on walls and reciting poetry at the same time. Okay, how's everybody doing? I'm really excited to see what people do. I thought I was going to do something. I just made 2 giant squares. And Got out my watercolors. Oh, Margaret White Brown. Yeah, I just read that beautiful little piece about her in the New Yorker that, was about how her writing was really unique in this way. Wait, somebody just posted it. Okay. Yes. Oh, Brown was most taken by the idea of writing for 5-year-olds. At 5, you reach a point not to be achieved again. Oh, it's so true. Yeah, because it's like Odette, my daughter Odette she's just starting to write words, right? So she can't write, she can write like 2 words. The rest is just like 10 T's and like 4 X's and like an O and a heart. It's so cool. But her mind is just so, so much of our speech and writing is extremely edited before it hits the page, and so much is rejected, by our educational editor mind. So they don't have that filter yet, and they just let it all fall out. Christina says their minds are so active without being bogged down by the daily humdrum. Yeah. I know, I look at her playing and just imaginatively going about her day, and I'm just like this mentally tortured old person. I just feel that way around her. That's the great thing about having a kid, is they do remind you of that beautiful time that one hopes to achieve in moments like these when you're creating something. It sounds kind of cheesy, I guess, but it's true. It's like you want to get to some sort of playful state. To really, really get the good stuff. All right, let's see some of this good stuff.
Bianca, do you want to help with this, or do you want to navigate the system?
Not really. Can you do it?
Sure. I'm going to ask you to do one small thing. It's so minor, and just raise your Zoom hand, and that sort of pushes you up to the front so people can sort of find you when you're commenting and stuff like that. But people are starting to raise their hands. So yeah, cool. So I'm going to remove your spotlight, and I'm going to go to Kathy / I think that might actually be Joe, if I remember right. And then we'll go to Calvin and Sinan and Michelle. Unless, Michelle, you want to tell me exactly how to pronounce that. Is it Mishka? Okay, so we'll go Kathy. And I'll post this list, excuse me, as it gets longer into the chat. So I'm going to change the spotlight over to Kathy / Joe. Oh, no, it's Kathy. Hi, would you like to share? And you'll have to unmute yourself.
Okay. I wanted to add a little bit of color, but I didn't quite get to that. Can you see this?
Yes, I love it. Yes. Do you
I'll
want to
read it if I can.
Yeah.
So this says soup pot up there. That's a spoon, if you can't tell. As the woman of myth ladled her life, I had to correct that, from the stream, losing some morsels as she gathered others. What soup shall I make? Shopping trip, pizza, phone case for Mike, send in my photos, my comics for public view, energy fading, nap rejuvenates, love walking with Joe and the dogs. Then down here we have enough heat, enough water, enough spice. Don't miss the dafts coming up. That's it.
Yay, I love it. It's so
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank
Really
you.
cool.
Cool. We'll go over to Calvin next. There we go. And Rachel, it says. Oh, you're muted.
Oh,
There we go.
okay, so what it says is, I will soon be 10. And then it's E with level 10. And it says, full of laughter and joy. And then I said, why celebrate now?
Oh, I love it. It's so great. Oh, I love it. It looks really good. I love how you have there's no box in the middle and it just jumps to the last one. It looks really, really good.
Cool. We'll go over to Sinan next. Let's see. There we go.
Hi, everybody. I use a tablet, so I don't know if it's gonna show up.
Oh yeah, we
So,
can see it.
Okay, great.
Yes, I
So-
love it.
The line was, the job of the ice was to point its cold fingers to the fear of dogs who were sniffing tree branches that hid a hawk eating its prey. So it was really hard to illustrate.
Wow.
And then,
That's a very visual line too, but that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. We'll go to Mishka next. There we go. You might have to unmute
Oh
yourself.
wow.
Yeah, hi. Two crows, the humorless German, and I sweeping away all the shriveled maple leaves. I ate some chocolate.
It's so great. It's so beautiful. I love the colors in that.
Thanks.
Yeah, you took it away so soon.
Okay, we'll go to Susan next. There
I
we
ate
go.
chocolate too.
Me. Okay. There's two Susans.
Oh,
You're right. I don't know if I'm doing this on my phone. So, I mean, the Zoom is on my phone. So I don't know if you can even see
It
that.
looks great. We can see it really well.
Okay. And I'm going to try to read it from, it says, the possibilities I've squandered rolled out in a line of empty birthdays, all of them colorful distractions and anxieties. It was a resignation from my difficult solitude, a recognition of sadness over the end of the day.
Mm. Wonderful. God, and she's eating the calendar, or it
Yep.
looks, but it also looks like it's coming out of her too. That's really
Right.
beautiful.
I kind of like the ambiguity on that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Perfect. And I love the color.
Oh, thank you.
well, we'll go to Michael next. Let's see.
Mute myself.
The line is, coffee casts a spell of light and shadow that spreads onto my cold toes and spills across the changing concept of love.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Nice.
I love the branches around the text too. That's great. Really good.
Well, okay, it looks like Joanne next. There we go.
Let's see if I can read this from my screen. If bluebirds fly on hollow bones came to me when I saw them perched outside, showing each other the hollow bird feeder swinging in the wind. All day I thought to myself, don't let blank and blank hollow my bones.
Oh, that's so cool. I love how you did that. Beautiful.
This is this is awesome, Bianca. Thanks for getting such great work out of everybody. Next, we're going to go, I think, to Adriana. Okay, cool. Oh, and you are muted, Adriana. Should we come back or should we wait? Come back? Okay, we'll go to Jeannie, then we'll go back to Adriana. Jeannie?
Right. So recently my brother and sister, older brother and sister recently fell on the exact same day. So that's been on my mind. My brother and sisters and I are getting old and falling. There. And medical invasion becomes the day-to-day. And this one is hot tea and my dog keep me warm and laughing.
Oh, I love that. It's great.
Awesome. We'll go to Stacy. I'm not sure. Adriana, do you want to tell us if that's working yet? No, not yet. Right. Okay.
Hello.
Thanks, Jeannie.
I think I better read it first and then I'll show you the picture.
Okay.
Who would stand to judge me? Should I pass from this changing world all on my own? Would I pass judgment on myself as others' opinions look on? No, the sun would still shine brightly and I would hear the sound of the surf as I drift into an unknown manifestation.
Oh, wonderful. Beautiful. Love that sun. My God.
Oh, thanks. So I think next is Janine. Let's pull you up. There we go.
Okay, hi everybody. So my poem is, his son turned from music making to healing. What's the difference? Slinging up the dog in his apricot hammock to buzz his button paws, he didn't enjoy it. My lavender head cozy, my heart happy at Cuphead. I'm curious about South Africa and what peacefulness looks like inside a human. And then this is just this little progression of images, and doesn't, yeah.
Those are great. Is that marker? Yeah.
It's one of those fake kanji pens. It's like a kanji marker. I really love it.
Cool. That looked really, those look really good. Love that.
Right. Looks like Kathy is next. We can't spotlight Kathy until their video comes on. There we go. Hang on. There we go. And
I basically, I think, did the equivalent of dog and shaver.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
No, I'm glad you did. I feel like I learned. I don't learn unless people actually say things like that out loud. But I thought, well, I'm not going to show. And then I thought, well, I'm just going to show.
I mean, sometimes it's the appropriate thing to do. I honestly,
well, you know,
yeah,
whatever. So this is my little image, and it says, the diamond pendant brought less relief than the new accountant. My cousin is visiting, and of course I feel fat. I'm tired all the time. I'm sure a pastry will solve this.
That's like exactly my day. That's wonderful. I thought that was great.
Thanks.
everyone likes your painting of the dog behind you too.
Oh, yeah, that's lovely. I didn't do it.
Okay, we're gonna find Adriana again, and there we are. Make sure
Can everyone hear me now?
yeah.
Perfect. I'm connected on my phone, so I don't know if you guys could like see it, but I stuck with one line because personally, when I do my illustrations, I like to keep it simple and focus on illustration. And it says, I busied myself with the unexpected extravagances of my mind.
I love that.
Yeah, I tend to just think a lot throughout the day. So
yeah, that comes through. Keep going. It's great. There's something very immediate about it. It's just very, very good.
All right, I think we have Audrey next.
There we go. Hi. Well, I know I did the dog and shaving thing, but I'll read it. It says, I'm giving things away as I declutter my studio, wondering if my Amazon packages will arrive to replace the empty space.
Oh, it's great. Totally captures it. Love it.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Did we do Angela? We might have skipped Angela. Here we go.
Hello. Mine says, my brain is sick. I write invisible lines. Work never ends, but aging is the poetry of becoming. And I hope to be the afterlife of the party.
Beautiful. I love the boxes. Really great use of the page.
All right. I think we have Liz next.
Hello. Mine is simple. Challenge yourself. This won't last forever.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we're gonna go to Lori next. Lori's got to come on video.
I'm working on it. Here we go. Okay. Here, I'll just show you this and read it because it's on a separate piece of paper, but I also wrote it on the arm. So, can you see that?
Yeah, it's great. Oh, I see it's on the arm. Yeah.
Okay. Regret feels like birds in the garden pecking away at my memories. Sadness and food are the conspiracy theories lost in families where hunger and frustration dwell.
Fabulous.
That's that.
So much evoked in the image. I love those raindrops falling upward.
Cool. We'll go to I think we have Liz next, and then Susan.
Hello again.
You got something for us, Liz?
You already saw me.
Oh, we did. Oh, I'm so sorry. Your hand was raised still, and I didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to put it down.
No. Sorry. We'll go to Susan. Here we go.
How do I do that?
Got it.
Hi. So mine is flowering trees explode without guilt. And I drown in worry, the prompts. My life, my heart cannot be hacked.
Beautiful. Really beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
like that. I like the words too.
Okay, we're gonna go to Jackie. Here we go. Oh, you're muted, Jackie.
Okay. Putting on my hedgehog mittens, I grabbed my snow shovel covered in cooking spray. The neighbor cat meowed to come inside. I looked forward to taking a shower and eating a large orange.
Great use of the
Yay.
page. I just love that orange in the middle.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Andrea next. We got a couple more minutes in you, Bianca. We're almost finished, I think.
Sure.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah.
And then you're not feeling well. But you're muted too, Andrea.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what side of things to show this, just this part of my sketchbook. This is an odd assortment of thoughts. Mung beans and basketballs are round and brown, a transform morphing in steady stages, inward, inward, ever more right, like a wordle intuned.
Love it.
Awesome. We'll go to Kenny if Kenny's ready to come on. Oh, we'll go, I'm not sure what that is. We'll go to Umi. Here we go.
Hi. So, sorry, my cat knocked down. Shit, my cat knocked down the coffee twice. So, what's wrong? So I did this drawing. And sorry, I wrote everything in Japanese. I'm just gonna read it aloud, and so you can just give me a praise because probably you don't understand. 鼻づまりで片方だけ鼻水の出る人間の顔の上にひっついて遠くまで来てしまった。アリは飛行機の振動に耐え、慣れない夏の雨に耐えたが、自分の足があるとき頼りなく感じられて、諦めてポトッと落ちた。それはかぼちゃの上で風緑のある家でだった。So once I brought an ant from Tokyo to Astoria. I didn't mean to bring it, but I was having runny nose and I wasn't really taking care of it. And there's an ant on my face. I realized it at JFK Airport, and I started taking care of it. And I left my cat in Japan, so I just started carrying them. And I think I left it somewhere in Astoria in a park. But in my fantasy, I fed them. What is this? Pumpkin. That's it.
Oh my God, that's so that's so interesting. Perfect for a perfect character for an ongoing series, I say.
Okay, next we have Rachel.
Okay. Try to read it because I've been rewriting it the whole time. Okay. Now the small dog is snoring on my comforter in his sweater vest. I was married to a professional Christian whose faith has fallen away. It's quieter with the dog. There's my left-handed calligraphy. Doom, my writing. Bumpy clouds limit the sky. What would life be if it wasn't in Chilhowie?
I love it. Really cool. Really interesting.
Well, I think we have Chris next. What happened? There we go.
Oh, can you see this one? Yeah. Turn the light on. Okay, I'll back it up just a little so you can see. The sentence is, I have econostasis hope that hasn't been extinguished by the taste of diet space. That's it.
Wow, that's really cool. I love that. Diet space. I've never heard that. That's great.
It's a thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Over to Lucas. And then we'll go to Yafu, and then that'll be it.
Right. So my poem kind of it reads like a haiku, but follows none of the rules. And I hope I manage to incorporate every single line of it into my single panel, but I hope what I did draw makes sense. Anyway, here it goes. High winds blow at them, threats of war with Russia, a survey of my studies at Pratt Institute, the level of sodium in my bloodstream, and my father's great expectations, but also smooth jazz in the background, praise of my sweet girl Pebbles, that was my cat, and a chance to express it all as sequential art.
Oh, I love it.
Also love.
Oh,
There's
the
me in the middle of the
salt
ocean
shaker.
with my sailboat, trying to sail on smooth jazz
Smooth jazz indeed.
to calmer waters.
It's great. You got a lot in there. I like that.
Cool. I'm gonna move to the people who are, there's Yafu. Here we go. Hang on. There we go. Then we'll go to Roxanne and that might be it.
Okay, it says, I stand at the crossroads of two separate identities, waiting for a synchronicity to clarify my purpose.
Beautiful. I really love this artwork.
Thank you.
Is that pencil? Is that colored pencil?
It's pencil and ink.
Cool. It's hard to see it, but it looks really awesome.
Thanks, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yafu, can you put it closer? Really lovely.
Yeah, it's really nice. Roxanne is here.
Hey. Let's see if, oh, there we go. So it says, don't forget to forget the backwards hand darting up and in. We'll watch their dark little bodies interrupting the moon's jewels. And that's my thumb.
That's so beautiful. I love that.
Time for two more, Bianca, Michael, and Jamie.
Oh, okay.
All right, Michael, and then Jamie, and that's it. All right, let's replace. Thanks, Bianca. Oh, you're muted.
I was drawing on Procreate and I accidentally erased everything 15 minutes ago. So this is winter sun, gently warming bare skin, mentally composing shopping list. And then I got distracted by playing with what could the letters CVS stand for. So Claritin, Vaseline, soda, cards, vitamins, salve, or chores, very sedating. And I had time to draw a 7-Up can.
I love it. You really captured it. That's great.
Thank you.
All right, quick slide over to Jamie if they're on screen. Thanks, Michael.
Hold on, you know me and my videos. I don't know what I'm doing, and my
Right.
iPad is so old. Should I try it? Hold on, where's the button? God, it's a nightmare. Oh, and I don't know why this background is there, and I don't know how to get it off. It's Snake Plissken doll. I put it on there at the beginning of the pandemic, and it makes my teeth look black. And then Snake, you can see him through my mouth. Right, it's very exciting. Anyway, can you see what I made? Hopefully you can. Okay, so hold on. So here, okay. Wait, that's the first one. I gotta read it while I'm, it's such a nightmare. Okay, I'll swallow your soul, said the big black hole. Wait, that she fell in every day. That's that one. Okay. With her problems obsessed, she was always depressed. never walked a different way. Okay, hold on. And then I had this one I did start before, and then I scribbled more on it. And it says, but there in the dark, glowed a spark, a glimmer of light she saw. I have a choice if I heed the voice that says sing and write and draw. And there's this scary, you're like happy, but is it the whole or is it me? I'm happy. Am I scary? I don't know. Scary, but thanks for letting me share. I really love this.
I love this. It's beautiful. Really great.
Thank you.
I know Bianca's not feeling well, you guys, and I want to respect her time. So Bianca, thanks so much. And I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, thank you guys. I mean,
can you tell us? Go ahead.
Well,
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I hope it's not COVID, but
yeah,
I'm kind of, maybe I am hoping it's COVID. Just get it over with, finally get it. Anyway, no, it's been really wonderful. This was so great, good to do, and I loved everyone's pieces so much. And you can totally share it with me on social media at Bianca Stone on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah.
Lots of places to share and find some other eyeballs on it. Susan Marks, I don't know if Susan's still here, but she was going to have a post Friday night workshop debriefing. I don't know if that's happening this week or next, but if it's happening this week, please throw it in the chat really fast.
It is. It's posted over in the Mighty Network, but I can throw the Zoom in here quick.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and do that. And then, so maybe there'll be some more sharing there. Susan, I don't know how that'll work, but Susan, thanks so much. And Bianca, thank you so much. Usually we just let everyone unmute and say thank you, a big sort of round of applause. Really, thank you. And tell us what's next for you as far as books or anything like that.
Can you unpin Jamie?
Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh yeah.
My new book just came out a couple weeks ago, so you can buy it. It's poetry, but and yeah, I'm doing a bunch of stuff at the Rootstone House. We have classes and stuff. So rootstonehouse.org. Yeah.
Awesome.
BiancaStone.com. No, Bianca-stone.com. Yeah.
Bianca-stone.com.
Is the request to see the book again?
Oh yeah.
We didn't get the title.
The title is What is Otherwise Infinite.
Yeah.
And it's published by Tin House Books, and yeah, it's a book of poetry.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bianca.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bianca.
Thanks, everybody.
Feel better.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bianca.
Incredible.
Thank you.
Feel better.